Liam, Manchester United story rumbles on. One of the striking features of the game the other night against Valencia, who are 14th in La Liga, was how fluent and technically good Valencia were. They didn't have a killer striker up front, but they moved the ball, and their own movement was really outstanding against a Manchester United team that just looked totally demoralised.
Well, I think the reason that Valencia had dominated, let's say, the midfield was because Manchester United players were standing off. They never got near them. They never closed them down. Pogba, in particular, didn't do his work. I think Matic is somebody that hasn't really got the legs anymore to close people down and get tight. And consequently, they ran the midfield, and time again they got the ball out to Guedes on the left wing, and he was having a field day down that side against Valencia. But unfortunately, he didn't have the final product for Valencia. Otherwise, I think they would have won that match probably 2-0. If he had picked out the right pass, the right final ball, or if the shooting had been a bit better, I think they could have been clear of United at half time. I thought United did a bit better in that respect in the second half, in as much as that they worked harder, they closed people down. But this is Manchester United we're talking about, They should be dominating teams like Valencia. It would have happened, I think, in Fergie's time. But I think the club's in crisis, or stumbles from one crisis to another since Ferguson has departed. And Paul Scholes come out this morning and said, like, this has got to be Mourinho's biggest challenge ever, is to put things right. And I don't think he has that. He has that time to do it, and I don't think they're going to give him that much time. I think things are very badly wrong at Man U at the moment. Yeah, they are. And Paul Scholes, John said I watched him on BT the other night. He said he should shut his mouth as well. I like Scholes. He's blunt. Yeah. But he's calling it as he sees it. Oh, yeah. And his finger is on Mourinho for sure. Yeah. But you have to say also that between Mourinho and Van Gaal, they've spent, like, Mourinho spent over 400 million. Van Gaal spent about 300 million. It's a lot of money, and they don't have quality hardly anywhere. No, well, it's one thing spending money. I mean, it's how you spend it is the big thing, and obviously it hasn't been spent well. Actually, Scholes was very good the other day, very forthright. He said Mourinho should go. Yeah. That's what he said. It's the same as he said he should go. Yeah. So that's what he believes, and he could well be right. But again, it's money well spent, Damon, is what it's all about. Like we go back to Leicester, for example, when a couple of years ago when they bought Kante, what for? 5 million or something? Yeah, 5 million. Yeah. And the other lad is Mahrez. Mahrez they got for 400,000, I think. Something like, that's scouting. That's good scouting, isn't it? And you see, like, what's bad scouting for Manchester, now I'm talking about Mourinho now. Mourinho wants to pay 70 million, or 60 million, 70 million on Maguire. Yeah. Right? Now, Maguire came through the ranks at Sheffield United. Yeah. He was outstanding at Hull. Yeah. And Leicester got him for what, 15 million or something like 17. That? Yeah, 17 million. Yeah. Why couldn't Manchester United get him for 17 million at that particular time? Yeah. Why too? In other words, the scouting can't be right, or Mourinho's judgment, whoever is in charge of the scouting there. Yes. That is a bad mistake. Yeah. If Leicester can do it, why couldn't Manchester United do it? Absolutely. So that's all part of it. It's not just the spending, it's how it's spent. And in Mourinho's case, and what happens with Mourinho, I mean, he hits out all the time. He's actually criticising some of the players he bought. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's saying the defenders are not good. We need defenders. This guy's not good. Smalling's not good. So-and-so's not good. And he's paid about 70 or 80 million on central defenders himself. Yeah. Lindelof is one he paid 31 million for. It's just a mistake. Bali. Yeah. He doesn't look great at the moment. Yeah, but he bought him. How much did he spend on him? At 35. Yeah. It's nothing. But the other thing that was significant, I saw you on RTE Liam saying, and the lads saying, it looks like the players are certainly estranged from him. I don't like the cliche, lost the dressing room, but it does describe what happens. Well, they're not really working hard enough. I mean, you can use the expression they've down tools as well. You know, they're not really working hard enough. They didn't work hard enough in the match at the weekend. You know, they're not playing for him, and you know that's black and white. And there's a big decision has to be made, and this is where there is a real crisis at Manchester United. Who's going to make that decision? Ed Woodward, would you trust him to make the decision on bringing in a new manager or sacking Mourinho? Because his track record since he took over, you know, the running of the club from Fergie and David Gill has been mistake after mistake after mistake. So that club, you know, the Glazer family are businessmen. They've invested a hell of a lot of money in the club to keep it at the very top, so the revenues keep coming in. Now the revenues are coming into that club despite the fact that Manchester United are not dominating, but that won't last forever, and they know that. So they're looking at that. Now Manchester United are a long, long way away from winning a league title or a Champions League this season. I don't think it's possible.
No, it's not. Just ask you a question.
They must be even looking, are we going to exit the Champions League early, or are we going to finish outside the top four in the Premiership? All these things must be going through their minds. Mourinho's constant bickering in openly about players. Like John is saying, that Klopp shouldn't have taken Salah off, and I agree totally with that. But what about Mourinho having to go at players publicly, like Rashford, Martial, Pogba, the Luke Shaw last season? You know, that kills the dressing room. That dressing room must be dead as far as Mourinho's concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pressure going out to play from a Manchester United team anyway is.
Yeah, but do you take my point? And the whole club's in crisis because, you know, would you trust Ed Woodward to put it right?
No, and I want to ask both of you just a question, and it's this, John. I think whoever takes over from Mourinho has a nightmare job.
I don't think so, Eamon.
You don't?
No. I think when any manager, Mourinho or anybody else, can only make the best of the players they have at their disposal. And what's bad management, Eamon, is when they don't make the best of what's at the disposal.
So you're saying, well then, are you saying that the makings of a top four team and a team, a decent team, are there, he's just not doing it?
Well, what I'm actually saying is he's not doing that. I think it's generally agreed.
No, but I'm talking about the next step.
No, well, let me get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. The next step is that if a manager comes in and gets the best out of the players that he has at his disposal, I think they'll be up and around there. I don't think they're in Manchester City's class, but they're definitely a lot better than they are, Eamon.
Right.
You know, to go to West Ham and do what they did, what they did the other night. As Liam said, I think the players are demoralised.
Yeah, they are.
But, you know, like Luke Shaw hasn't become a bad player now. Rashford was going on to be one of the best players as a young lad in the Premiership. One or two others that you could say, you know, the younger lads. Lingard, for example, he hasn't been in the team. Like, there's definitely, if you look at the players at his disposal, he's not making the best use of them. Now, anybody that comes in is going to also have the Pogba situation.
Yeah.
You know, like, in my opinion, last year when Pogba was doing what Mourinho said he was doing, or not doing what he should have been doing, he should have been out.
Yep.
He should have been out. Now, what he would be allowed to do, this season, after World Cup, he tried to make up with Pogba, made him vice captain. Worst thing he could possibly have done. Because this is Pogba on top now, and Pogba's making the most of it because he definitely wants him out. So Mourinho's in a battle with Woodward and Pogba, and there'd be see the two of them against him. But definitely, if somebody comes in to Manchester United who is a good manager, Eamon, will definitely get an awful lot more out of them than Mourinho's getting at the moment.
Yeah, Liam, I think I'd agree with that. But my real point was that the money's been spent. It's a bloody mess. They bought badly. 100 million for Pogba being maybe the worst. It's not going to be easy for the next manager to get the kind of money the last two have had, and B, to make something serious of that team.
Yeah, well, I think they need to bring somebody in who's going to be totally honest with them and say, look, you know, these are the players you have here at Manchester United. These are the players I rate going forward in the future. These, you know, and as John said, there are a lot of very, very good players there. And if you got them back on side and you get them back playing with confidence, I think you'd see a totally different team than we're watching now. Now, I think they could do worse than get Arsene Wenger in there and say to Wenger, because Wenger's an honest guy. He's not an egomaniac like Mourinho is or Van Gaal is. They picked two guys there who thought they were the most important part of the club, and it was all about them. What they could do now was someone like Wenger coming in there and saying, like, okay, you got 8 months of the season, Arsene. See if you can get us back on track. See if we can start winning games and getting back into the top four. Get the fans back on side by playing attacking football. That's the tradition of the club, and then give us an honest assessment at the end of the season where we are, and even maybe help with the recruitment of a manager that's going to suit the club, that's going to suit the style of the club. I think they could do a lot worse than do something like that, Eamon.
Yeah, no, that's a very good idea and a very original one.